Hello everyone, today I've got another box for Moonstone, the multi-award winning fantasy game from Goblin King Games. This time around I'm going to be taking a look at the massive, the mean, the ornery Gump for the La Chevalte. Okay, so Gump for the La Chevalte and the multi-award winning Moonstone. As you can see here, Gump is a big massive, well, technically it's a treefolk, but also technically it's a spirit inhabiting a tree. So interesting. If I pull out the contents, we have card and bag of resin. So what do I mean by it's a spirit inhabiting a tree? The dendrites are spirits who, for whatever reason, can inhabit trees or plants or what have you. Some choose to stay in one, other ones flit around. So they're an interesting, I'm not even sure if they're a species. They're an interesting spirit, let's face it. It's Tauber. There's a lot of spirit going on there. As you can see, multi-part resin, some crisp detail on it, a little bit of flashing that will need to be cleaned up, although that does look to be minimal. Most of that will come off when I wash the resin and hit it with the old toothbrush. So I will take this away, clean it up, and when we come back we'll take a look at Gump in all their finery. Okay, I'm back. Gump is built. The build was easy enough. They are minimal parts to put together, and the casting, as always, was very crisp. The only bit that was slightly aggravating is this sort of collarbone system of branches. It's difficult talking about anatomical areas on an animated tree. The two arms fit neatly into the sort of the shoulder blades, and then this collar fits around, and it's like a horseshoe, so it comes in on both sides. I had to heat that up a bit to get it to snugly fit around and into position. So not a major issue, something that's relatively simple to do. Lots of lovely detail on it, from the grumpy face to the moppet of leaf up top. Interesting look that Gump has, sort of scowling, by all accounts, a curmudgeonly dendrite. Doesn't particularly like anyone or anything at the best of times, but really nice detail, the branch and root structure, those vines hanging off, and then the sort of creepers and strands of sort of dangling fronds here, there and everywhere. I imagine some people will probably want to add some sort of clump foliage and the like to this as well. Gump is around about 61 mil to eye level and 70 from root to crown. So big figure. As far as stats go, Gump, treefolk spirit, melee 3, range 2 inches. Bit of a punch on them. Arcane of 4, evade +2, not easily dodging anything, slow moving. And that comes across with some of the abilities. So they can jog over wooded patches. However, they are ponderous and they cannot take reaction steps because of that. Not branches. If they deal impact damage, it's increased by +2, which is great. And then bark skin. Damage from piercing or slicing is reduced by 1, or -1 rather. Forest. After this character suffers damage, They may restore 1 wound for each wooded patch within 4 inches once per turn. There's a lot of La Chevalt cultists and casters out there who can manipulate and place forest patches, so that's great. 1 arcane ability, Call of the Woods, costs 2 energy, which is good, for they only have 2. On a green, you can move an enemy X plus 2 inches directly forward towards any treefolk, and then they suffer 1 wood for each wooded patch within 4 inches of them. On a catastrophe, Gump cannot move or be moved, and has its melee range increased to 3 until the end of turn, which is interesting. That's also part of the signature move on the low guard, which is Rooted. Gives you a chance to deal absolutely no damage whatsoever. You get that inability to be moved and increase your range to 3. However, in the end step, if this character was not slain, then it restores 1 wound. So Gump has the potential to be an interesting support character, dragging people into areas that they don't want to be in, and then causing additional damage via those wooded patches. So a lot of synergies, as always, with the characters. Gump being very good with the Wyrdwood Troupe box. So there we have it, the Moonstone take on Ents and Treefolk. Interesting little backstory with the dendrite spirits sort of hopping from tree to tree as and if they please, which gives some of them more interesting and diverse characters than your regular sort of dryads, I live in an elm kind of thing going on. Gump is obviously particularly interesting in that he has a lot of synergies with the Wyrdwood box, which has gone up for pre-order the same as Gump yesterday. This means you can use him to pull people into areas of wooded glades, which will then allow you to do more damage with some of your other abilities and effects, or set him up as a bit of an anvil in the middle of the table surrounded by those trees. It'll be very, very difficult for people to take him out. But let me know what you think of Gump and how you'll use him in your games of Moonstone. Until next time, folks. Bye-bye.
Go ahead and check out our other content on screen now. And while you're at it, why not hit subscribe and remember to ding our dong. Go on, you know you want to click it. Go on.